What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is the 13th of August, 2016. You are in the midst of your weekend. I hope that your week was well. Sidestepping the negative, always staying grounded, but speaking your truth. So it's bright and early, y'all. Bright and early. Beat the birds up. It ain't even 8 o'clock in the morning. But you know what? I got my coffee, though. Yeah, I do. And I woke up feeling a certain kind of way, y'all. The last 3 days, I put videos out and have had a hard time conveying the message that I needed to because I was trying to find a way to not only be sensitive to those who hear, but be responsible in the same time. But then I thought about it, not every message is meant to be embraced. Not everything that you wish to convey or give, because everything that you do is a reflection of what's found inside your heart, what is found in your spirit is going to be taken. It's going to be taken freely, and it had me conflicted, y'all. Let me just be forthright. It had me feeling a certain kind of way because, part of me is I strive to live a good life. I do. And my spirituality is my foundation. It is what makes my character. It defines who I am. However, that is just an aspect of the main. Your life is nothing but a living story. That's why you hear the term living testament or testimony. Your testimony is nothing but your truth. But let's spin it a little bit. Let's turn the corner, y'all, because unfortunately, you will come to find out in your journeys on this planet, as long as you breathe, there are going to be some people that don't want to hear it. There are some people that want nothing more than to silence or extinguish what you represent. Yeah, they do. They don't want you to step into your destiny, y'all. And therefore, you must stay grounded. You must never compromise your truth. See, you can't protect your truth unless you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable to you first. Because, see, nobody cares about an interpretation or a perception unless it's validated from you. You can't claim something unless you own it. So let's turn the other page. If you haven't, great. But as you start to progress down this road, we know is life. You're going to have some people that will not have integrity. They will never take accountability for their actions, and they are more or less nothing but living example of what a train wreck is about. Before a train wreck can have its effect, it's got to start from somewhere. And opportunists love that because it's collateral damage. And sometimes, if you're not aware, you're distracted, a lot of people end up getting caught up in situations that they had no reason to be a part of. We know that as being a calculated casualty in the military. In other words, yeah, Johnny got killed because Johnny put himself in a situation he had no business being. Who am I talking to? You see this happen in a city near you, in a town near you, in a state near you. Every night, somebody's taking that ride to the hospital. How about to the morgue? See, you'll never hear a cemetery proclaim, hey, we out of room. Mm-mm. Nah. They treat it like a bag of Lay's potato chips. Don't worry about it. We'll make more. That's why I tell everybody to take the stopwatch out of your life. Slow down. Yeah, remember Brand Nubian? They yelled it big as day, slow down. And they played out examples of the effects of not slowing down. But you got some people that are so broken, and they know their life is broken, and their sole purpose is to take anybody with them. But here's the ironic part on that, y'all. Because God is merciful, because God will show you favor when you don't even deserve it. Who am I talking to? Because see, every time you wake up, you know that breath you just took, you're not obligated to have that. Yet we overlook this all the time. The little things. It's the little things that matter most. But we've gotten shallow as a society. We have this self-indulgence that the world and the people in it owe you. Nah, you got to pull your own weight. And if you ain't pulling your own weight, that makes you a bum. Yes, it makes you a bum. A bum to yourself because you ain't living your life. You are accepting the effects of not claiming it. And you got people out here walking around for various reasons. Some living in their nightmare. They're so traumatized. But because of the fact that we don't focus, we're so caught up in our own selfishness, we won't show compassion. We won't speak our truth where it needs to be spoken. Why? Because society has already convinced so many of us, well, it's none of my business. Even though I know it's right. No. And people don't care. But little do you know, we reap what we sow. We reap what we sow. It only manifests in different forms, but the lesson is still the same. The question is, did you get it? You're not supposed to be waking up from where you were, where you shouldn't have been, in pain. But that demon won't tell you that. That demon's job is to rob you of your essence, starting from your mind, then your body, and everything around it, your resources. That's what being toxic is. I ain't got to remind you that. It ain't by chance when you walk in a room, it feels like somebody sucked it out, like a vacuum has sucked out all life in that room. It's because there's a spirit in there that shouldn't be. That's why I tell each and every one of y'all, better go buy yourself some white sage and burn it, because demons don't like that. No, 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 they don't like that at all, because it raises spiritual frequencies up where it forces it to come out. So there's that free will there, because once it comes to the surface, you still got to make a choice. Do you want to entertain it? But I ask each and every one of y'all this: if there's no growth in it, why are you there? If it does not empower you, why are you there? If it does not have the ability to foster the best you, why are you there? Why are you there? You realize how many people are in beds they shouldn't be? They're waking up doing the old, how did I get there? They're doing that dance. They're like, how did I get there? Where's my clothes? Then reality smacks them in the face. You don't even know who that is. And then you got to take the walk of shame. It's not the shame of the action. It's the shame of the concession, because you let it go down. So you got to look at the triggers there. If the commonality is every time I drink, the side effect or outcome is maybe you need to turn around and look at that drinking. Maybe you need to find another way. And a lot of people do it because of the fact that they think that what is a release is really an escape or an excuse for them to do what they need to do. See, if you don't have your life together, it doesn't matter who you're in connection with. You'll never be at your best. You'll never be. It's just another excuse. Well, you know, I would do this. Well, you know, I could have did that. Nobody wants to hear that. All they want to know is, can you deliver? Stop giving alligator. Stop going around the mountain like the lost tribe of Israel. Produce. Bottom line. If you don't produce, you can't sustain. You can't sustain because you don't see the value of you. That's why they keep coming and going. And the only thing's different is another lie, another face, another layer of pain. Because you saw your aunties do it, because you saw your mama do it, don't mean you're supposed to do it. But here's the kicker. I've also noticed that most people will willfully inherit the generational curse because they're afraid to step out of their comfort zone. Don't you realize when you step out of your comfort zone, that's when you discover the real you even more? Think about that caterpillar and the struggle it went through before it became a butterfly. If it didn't go through that journey to prepare itself to become that butterfly, it would have never known what it felt like to fly. That's your life. It's not your responsibility to take accountability for what they're doing. But I'll tell you this, though. Is your validation. As long as you stay true to you and continue to grow, don't worry about who is in your life. Don't worry about who is not. in the intended time and moment. Don't worry. They all come back. They all of them. Every person that you had a connection with, eventually, you're going to see again. And what is at stake is how you respond in that moment of interaction. Because, see, that is nothing but an example that these people were either soul ties or soul contracts. And your lives are tied. Y'all, that means that is something that you and that person have to learn together or complete together. That can be karmic too. But you know what I notice about karma? Karma doesn't have effect unless you decide to compromise your free will. So in other words, if you had somebody in your life and they betrayed you, right? You have to make a willful choice to either learn from it or choose to repeat the cycle to somebody else. You see that happen all the time. That's one of the biggest tricks the devil uses. The Jezebel spirit uses that all the time. And that's how a lot of demons stay employed, because they let you use your misfortune. That's the foundation, right? And how you decide to react to it will actually make the sustainment of the lesson. So let me break it down. So if you give your heart to Johnny, Johnny turns around and he abuses you physically, emotionally, financially, right? And you have been awakened to see the truth. You have a choice. You can turn around and turn that into your wisdom and learn from that experience, or you can turn around and embrace the side effects and continue adding a link into that chain to somebody else. And a lot of people do that. They have this, especially you, my queens, y'all do that. You turn around, you got with that guy. You should have never got with that guy. You got with that guy for superficial reasons. And doesn't matter what he possessed or what he did to you or how he made you feel in the bedroom. He was never good for you, because that's why there was no talk. God was nowhere in that. And then he was gone. He was gone. Like a thief in the night. That's how the devil does. That's why I keep trying to tell you. He'll use whatever he has to do to lure you away from you. So it may be that bodacious woman that oozes charm and wit, and you like, man, she's my dream girl. Only to be your teacher. Or he could be somebody that got it going on superficially, but inside he's barren. He's a shell, making all this noise like a cicada. But you know what happens to cicadas? They make all that noise and they die quick. I think, yeah, the life expectancy is extremely short, even though their life is always underground for 17 years and they come out. Some of y'all will catch that. So what's at stake is continuing the cycle. And far too many times is, and unless you know who you are, You're going to repeat the cycle by way of rebellion. You have this mindset, well, you know what? I'm going to think like a man, but I'm a woman. Don't you realize when you try to think like a man, you're a feminist? That's the traits of a feminist, because she's out of her nature. I'm just using that for example, but that really, when you think about the title, Steve Harvey was describing a feminist. You want to embrace the mindset and the ideology of a man, but you're a woman. You act out of emotion. You're the nurturer, so you are the pendulum of life. So when you're not embracing your own pattern, cultivating you, everything you do is out of sync, out of balance. Because that's not your true nature. So if it's not your true nature, then that's not your life. Do you not see the correlation in that? Do you not? That's why imitation is not flattery. You don't get props because you're mimicking them. You can learn from their wisdom. You can learn, but still that requires you to embrace a position to receive it. That's why now I call a spade a spade. You ain't gotta, you look. This is symbolism. God lives inside my spirit. That's how he communicates. Through synchronicity and signs. By way of his angels. You know, until you can decide to be vulnerable with that little boy or little girl that you really are, because that little boy and that little girl is still alive. They're still alive. It's just the reality is your flesh is getting older. We know it as maturity. If you are in your 50s still making decisions that you made when you were 17, you are stagnant. You are blocking your potential. So how can somebody treasure that? They won't. But I tell you what ends up happening is you end up attracting someone with the same mindset as you do. That's why I told you, Queen, stop chasing them sugar daddies. Because if he had his best interest in point, y'all got nothing to talk about. That's why the end result is always the same. He brings you to his lure and yanks your drawers off and has you on the back and compensates you with little mere trinkets and sends you on your way. That's a choice. If it was different, you would be wearing a ring. He would claim you. You would have his last name. But people treat their lives like they're going through a door of 7-Eleven, constant. You are the prize. Not everybody's supposed to know your story. Not everybody's supposed to hear you breathe. But you know what's so amazing? You got grown folks still to this day that are afraid of the truth. They'll hold on to that lie. They lie to themselves. And deep down inside, they're afraid to admit it to themselves because that would unleash that linchpin of their mentality, because everything that you do is based off of choice. And then if you look at it as, well, that decision was not in my best interest, because if I made that outcome, before I had that outcome, I had this thought pattern. And go back. And you'll also understand how you got there. Now let's flip it. You got some people that already knew your uniqueness before the first hello. And they pursued you too. They tried to do everything they could to stay near. I know some of y'all going through that. You got them damn stalkers out there that think they slick. Yeah, they sit back in the cut and they watch everything you do. They watch everything you do because they studying you. They study everything you do, thinking that that will be a playbook to gain access to you. Don't you know the devil's a liar, and anything done with deception has a price more than the investment? Who am I talking to? So stop lying to yourself and see how valuable you really are when you decide to ground your feet. How about it you take that stopwatch out of your life and finally be able to exhale, which what metaphorically means you finally decide to live. Because as long as you keep those friends, you're going to continue to be lost in the matrix. Because guess what? They gave up on their lives a long time ago. And they see you as nothing but entertainment and something to do. How about something to exploit? Come on now. You've sat down and done the math. What do y'all got to talk about? But you have some people that got this mindset nowadays that they want to do whatever. They just pop in your life whenever, say whatever they want without any recourse of their actions, and look at you like, what are you going to do? No. If you didn't earn the right to hear me breathe, it's because you didn't earn the right to walk with me. And if you didn't earn the right to walk with me, how can you earn the right to know my story? One of the most beautiful thing you could ever do on this planet is have the ability to watch somebody grow. Because you have access to their social media page means nothing. It means nothing. That means you're cheating. That means you don't have the fortitude or the integrity to do the work. You see, that's why when people say friends are few and far between, because there'll always be opportunists out there wanting to look for a come up. You know why they do that? Because they're too busy and they're too afraid to do it themselves. That's why a lot of times when you run into people and you feel a certain kind of way, first of all, what you're identifying is your spirit. That's your spirit by way of your discernment, letting you know that person either walks with you or divided from you. But it doesn't give you the right to disrespect yourself, compromise your position. First of all, if you got to compromise yourself just to have somebody in your life, you are spiritually prostituting yourself. Are we on the same page? Because see, love is natural. It is like air. It is free. If it's meant for you to have, you will have it. If it feels like pulling teeth, that means there is work still not done. How about accountability? Haven't you noticed the people in your circle? If they don't take accountability for their actions, they'll never see your worth. They're there for the ride. It doesn't matter if you're related to them. Because trust and believe, there are a lot of people that you're related to that secretly wish that you weren't. They secretly are afraid of what you stand for, because you are a constant reminder of what they failed to do. And it's sad. It's sad because these people refuse to speak their truth. Do you know your own story? Do you know it? You actually think you're supposed to be the alcoholic? You think you're supposed to be that person that is secretly trying to hold it together, but you're a drug addict? Huh? Huh? Oh, I'm talking to some. What? Oh, so you use your sexual release as a means to understand your coping skills, but you rationalize it by, you say, well, you know what, I didn't get my sexual healing, so I got to get that right and I'll feel better. No, that means you got a sexual addiction, and you've been using that as a means to cope. And that behavior, what has it done but put mileage on your precious body? Why? Because you willfully are laying in trash. I'm not trying to sound disrespectful, but basically, your greatest gift is your body. But it's governed by your spirit. It's understood by your intellect. So if your intellect is not on point because you don't govern your heart, which means you're not respecting yourself or seeing your worth, you'll give yourself to anybody that just says hello. You think that girl give a damn about you that you met in the parking lot? You think she do? You was caught up by what she looked like, how her sway and how she smelled. Don't you know that was for your show? That was a front. That was a lure. And it amazes me that women nowadays, you don't care about what should be a mystery. Don't you know less is more? The less you show, the more you stimulate the brain. But they got it twisted. They think the more I show, the more better off I'll be. Queens, all you're doing is attracting Johns. You can't get mad at John behavior because they're not thinking what they had. Not they big one. So why would you be the steak being thrown in the lion's den? Somebody gonna gobble you up. That's not your story. And you shocked because, oh, he was rough. No. That was something he wanted to do long ago. You just happen to be the next contestant on The Price is Wrong. That's why it doesn't benefit you to act out of your character. You're not no man. You never was, and you never will be. I don't care if you turn around and say, well, that's why I'm with another woman. You know what? You're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself. And really, you're disrespecting yourself because you're running from you. Two locks can't open the door. And really, all that is done out of rebellion too. You refuse to heal, and you're going to run. Even Jimi Hendrix wrote a song called Runaway Child. That's all you're doing, you're running. And all those things that are titillating and what you think is taboo, and because you have this exhibitionist mentality, this fearless persona, that's for sure. Because deep down inside, that little girl still needs love. She still needs to feel safe. She still needs to be honored and uplifted. You're not going to find that with her, because all she's going to do is she's going to hurt you even more, because guess what? The same mindset that you have is the same mindset that got her to walk into your life. It's spiritual, y'all. It's spiritual. Don't matter what you look like. Just like the blind leaving the blind. How much pain you got to go through. So let me end this real quick. You're going to have people now that going to think they bold and brazen and can come and go as they please. Listen, if these people don't respect you, don't waste your time. Keep it stepping. Keep it stepping. Can people change? Every day. They can. But be wary of this too, because see, a demon's got to stay employed, right? A demon has to stay employed. And a demon, like I told you, like those people, they'll study you. That's what opportunists do, y'all. Opportunists are nothing but demons manifested in a human form. Because see, first, you got to be hollow inside before that possession occurs. You knew her, she was meek. Now you know her, she bold and brazen. That ain't her. The person you knew died a long time ago. That's a demon. And what's going to happen is that train wreck is going to happen. And it's your choice to sit there and watch it occur. Sometimes all you're supposed to do is pray for people and get the hell out of their way, y'all. Because if you don't get out of your way, get out of their way, they're going to pull you down too. But here's the kicker. They will never own what they do. You might have some family members like that. They won't own their stuff. But they're quick to play the victim card and tell everybody else, haven't you noticed when conversations need to be with A and B, they always go to C, D, and F? Why they do that? It's because they lack integrity. And really what that is the drama starts and occurs because they have no control over your life and they're pissed. But even though if they're pissed, guess what? Do not think they don't have one eye open on what you're doing. Because they are. They're waiting for the crack to be revealed. They're waiting for that unlocked door to be shown. Waiting patiently. That's what opportunists do, y'all. They don't know time. Because it's no different than that guy that had that thing for that girl. And people are like, damn, he a fool. She treating him like garbage. He ain't leaving. You know why he did that? Well, you know why he did that? Excuse me. Why he's done that? Because the payout. In his warped mind, he's thinking, you know what? When the payout comes, I'm going to cash in. I'm going to get all my reward. They're laughing now, but they're going to be crying later. Don't be the victim. Don't do it. You have no one to blame but you if you let it occur. Because look, you didn't have to wake up today. Therefore, that means you didn't have to wake up next to them. You're supposed to be waking up and that's why you hear people going, you see it all the time. All they do is argue. All they do is argue. They got this mindset. They say, well, if we don't have any conflict, we don't have any struggle, then it's not a real relationship. Let me tell you something. I don't know who gave you the flyer, but that's living hell. You are in hell. Because guess what? The person that's supposed to be in your life, most of make it feel like heaven on earth. Will you have disagreements? Sure you will. I'm talking about them people that are constantly, their life, you look at their life and you see nothing but broken people and drama. That's all you see. You see it from, you see the structure of that. You know, it's like everybody in that family is toxic. Why? That's the living example of a generational curse. So you can go ahead and double dutch your ass up in there if you want to. Just make sure that you're there when the pain comes. Stick your chest out. Lift your chin up. Because when it comes, and it will, be prepared for it. Remember I said just in the back, you got some people that go through things unnecessarily because they shouldn't have never been there. That's why people run. They go through their whole, and you know what? It's also a direct correlation of how they were raised too. You always say, I don't understand why Sheila is in jail right now and she robbed that bank. You know why Sheila got locked up. You know what Sheila was about before she started getting in trouble too. And you know exactly what the influence and who the influence was. You don't need all the pieces to see the big picture. But it's your responsibility and decision to view it. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. You're going to turn around and you're going to stay with him because of how he makes your click, clack, click? You're a fool. But you know what's even sadder? The man that is destined to be in your life, you won't never know what love is or heaven sent bliss because you're living in hell willfully. Be blessed.